There I go. Unpacking the Baggage podcast. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. How are you doing on this lovely Sunday evening? I know you guys are surprised to see that I've got a famous person on the podcast today. I'm your host, B. Let me go ahead and do my B. I'm your host, B Level, but I need to stop and introduce, really not introduce this woman because she's been on the podcast before. And it seems like everybody know her because she's been introduced again. The only woman that has broke the internet like 2 times within 2 or 3 months. Welcome, Miss Star Torrence. All right, now today is episode 34, and this is a special edition of the Unpacking the Baggage podcast, okay? And the reason why it's a special edition because we're changing up what we normally do, right? So, Star, you know how the podcast normally does. Normally, we do it live. Normally, we do it on Facebook. Tonight's episode is not going to be broadcast on Facebook. It's only going to be broadcast on our YouTube page, which our YouTube handle is Brian Stewart Sr. I need you guys to do one thing before we start our conversation is hit the notification button. And also, I want you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. At some point in time, we're going to take our podcast off of Facebook. And this where it will live right here at Brian Stewart Sr. So we're calling this the Unpacking the Baggage podcast special edition because guess what? We won't have phone calls today, right? We won't have the live interactive that we normally have. You guys won't be able to comment. Well, you can comment on YouTube. You can still comment. But of course, this will be a conversation that Star and I have that was taped and it will be played back to you. Tristan is in New Orleans. And I want to make sure that thing doesn't go to sleep. Tristan is in New Orleans, and we will not talk to Chris Webb today. So this will just be conversation with B-Level and Star. We'll still have the opportunity. I am still looking for a co-host. If you guys are interested in a co-host position, I need you to send an email to unpackingthebaggagepodcastlr@gmail.com or inbox me at Brian Stewart or inbox the UTB podcast Facebook page, okay? Just inbox us and tell us why we should pick you. I'm looking for a female to co-host the podcast, and I'm almost finishing. So if you have been thinking about it and you have been wondering if you want to do it, you only have a couple of more weeks to apply. So send that email to me or inbox me. Now, sponsors, we are running a sponsorship deal for the month of August. It's back to school, and we have almost a 75% deal off on sponsorship. And when we're talking about sponsorship, let me tell you about one of our sponsors, okay? One of our sponsors right now is let me pull it up so I could talk about it, is the Arkansas Cigar Festival 2024, okay? This event is happening September the 1st from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. They're going to serve dinner. They're going to give you an open bar, which means, Star, you can drink as much as you want to. It's going to be live music, and they did tell me the live band. I'll pull up the band who they have as their live music, but they're going to have DJ Uncle Jam as the DJ. And let me just tell you, if you want a table, you can reserve a table with multiple people sitting at your table. It's not much. It's $450. But you get multiple people in, you get dinner for everybody, you get an open bar for everybody, and if you do a table, you also get a complimentary bottle as well, all right? So you get all of those things as well as a band. That's a small price to pay if you want a table. Now, if you're only going with maybe your girl or your partner, you can buy individual tickets. They're $65, okay? They get you the same thing. It gets you dinner. It gets the open bar, unlimited drinks, and live music. Now, vendors, if you want to sell your product at this cigar festival, all you have to do, it's $100, okay? And I'm going to give you the contact number, but listen, the event is going to be held at the Sherwood Woody Forest in Sherwood, okay? Again, the Sherwood Woody Forest in Sherwood. And let me just tell you, all you need to do if you're interested in it, let me get to the number that you call, and it's taking me some time. I should have been prepared for it. Let's see if I got run this stuff on here. You got to call Scully, okay? And let me get Scully's number, even though I didn't say, okay. Call Scully at 501-454-9417. Again, call Scully at 501-454-9417. Okay? All right, so I'm back. Okay. I think I've talked about everything I need to talk. Okay, how you doing, Star, today? You good?
I'm doing good.
Are you nervous?
A little bit. You can tell.
So as I told you, it's a special edition episode. Today we're going to do things a little bit different, right? I know that you guys, if you have not heard or if you have not seen on Facebook, Star and Johnny came back. They came to my podcast. It was one of our biggest streaming podcasts that we've had in the 1st of June. I think it was June the 16th that they were actually, it was Father's Day. They were actually on the podcast and they actually came. It was a lot of drama around them. Dating each other. Star, let me just give you a little recap of what happened. Star and was friends with a young lady by the name of Alicia. And Star and Johnny, and you stop me when I make a mistake, Star. Star and Johnny had known each other for years. They had grown up around each other. They had always kind of had a like for each other. They kind of flirted when they were young. Johnny was really feeling Star for, from a young age. They lived pretty close to each other. And Johnny had always tried to get Star to give him an opportunity to date him. Well, fast forward to when she's grown now. She became friends with one of his kids' mother. And they became really close. But she never dated Star. She never dated Johnny before, but I think she was out with some friends. They ran across each other one night. They were out kicking it with the individual parties. They wasn't kicking it together, but right. Johnny was with his partners. Star was with her girlfriends. Johnny saw her. He didn't know it was her, but I think he got in contact with her somehow.
On Facebook.
Through Facebook. And said, I thought I saw you. So they exchanged numbers. One thing kind of led to the other. And they ended up started dating each other in June, started liking each other, was hanging around each other a lot. You know what happened when you start hanging around somebody a lot?
Actually,
Go ahead.
We had their interaction in March.
Okay, in March.
And for the month of March, we just kind of had, conversations, just talking back and forth.
Okay.
Catching up, about our families and talking about different things.
Okay.
And we actually started dating in April.
Okay. And so, but she was still friends. There was only one problem. She was still friends. Star was still friends with the baby mama. And so that made the start of their relationship pretty messy a little bit because Star struggled with, I'm feeling this cat that I'm hanging out with, but I also got this friends that I've become really close with. They spent a lot of time together. So now Star and Johnny was in this situation with this friend, and a lot of people were saying she violated the girl code, the friend code. She came on. Everybody was talking crap about it. Well, you're naive and you don't know what the hell you're doing and you're crazy. And then I think on the episode, Alicia came on. They had a pretty pleasant, calm exchange. They just left it there. And so that's the big deal. Now, I toned into my Facebook on last Monday. And I'm seeing that Star and Johnny broke up. So we're going to have conversation tonight, right? We're going to have a conversation about, and it's going to be a follow-up to, I can't tell you, Star, how many inboxes I've got saying, you need to go back and talk to Star now. You need to go back and talk to Star. So again.
I did too. I got them too.
You got, okay. And what were they saying in your inbox? What were they saying?
That I need to go back and talk about it. I need to contact you and have you bring me back on. So everybody can know what happened. Because some people were rooting for us. And then, we had the ones that was just like, it shouldn't have never happened.
So that's why we're having this conversation. But we're going to do it a little bit different. You can comment on this page. I don't know why my computer is doing that. But you can comment on the page, on the YouTube page, after we see it. But We're just going to have conversation tonight, right? So my first thing is you guys came in June the 16th on Father's Day. And you told your story. You and Johnny talked about the fact that you guys were in love and that really nobody could help who you fall in love with. The public was not going to get in the way. A couple of things you said that we're going to jump into tonight. And I remember you saying, well, y'all don't know Johnny. Y'all don't know Bob. Y'all don't know Bob.
They do know Bob. They know Bob.
Y'all know Bob, but y'all don't know Johnny. So we're going to get into...
They know Johnny. I said I know Jonathan.
Okay.
That's
they know
name.
Johnny. You know Jonathan. So let me just ask you this, Star. What happened when you guys left? I mean, obviously, I follow both of you guys on social media. It seemed like everything was going great.
It
was. I was following you. You guys were taking pictures. Y'all were going everywhere together. And what happened, Star?
We were doing what we had always been doing, while we were dating, just, hanging out, doing different things. I was showing him different things, introducing him to things that I like and that he enjoyed doing. So I'm different from most of the women that he's been with and dated before. And so we had a lot of fun, and it was just like we made each other feel alive. So It was fun. It was a whole lot of love and affection and bliss. So there was no issues in the beginning, but beforehand it was an everyday thing. So after the podcast, it started being like a everyday thing. We together 7 days a week.
Okay.
So, of course, after the honeymoon stage, you kind of get reality hits and you kind of get to learning each other and you waking up together and you going to bed together. You start noticing different things and things start to happen. So you kind of see, if you're able to balance each other out or if you're able to compromise or if you're bumping heads, different things. And we still got along pretty good. We communicated very well. But it was just that Johnny started being Johnny.
Oh. Wait. When you say that Johnny started being Johnny, and what do you mean by he started being Johnny?
And not saying that he ever stopped being Johnny. I just started noticing the things that when he was at home and he was creeping with me, he started doing those things.
Okay.
So
when he was on the show, he had his own spot. He was not at home anymore. He was not living in his marital home. He was not there.
Right.
He had his own spot. And you, but now you're saying when he was at home, are you saying
it's like I switched roles with his wife?
Wait a minute. Right. I had to do the crickets. What the hell you mean? You got to explain it. What do you mean by you?
You know how that song, who was that? SZA, you got him Tuesday, Friday, Monday through Friday or something. I got him on the weekend.
Yeah.
At first I had him on the weekend.
Okay.
And then when he left, I had him 7 days a week. And then now, every now and then, you want to disappear on the weekend like he was doing when
so
he was
you
at
went
home.
To getting the weekdays and she wasn't getting the weekday. Okay.
So I wasn't a fun girl no more. So now he hanging out on the weekend because that's what he do. He worked Monday through Friday. Friday night, he kicking it. He kicking it all weekend.
Okay.
And I was usually the fun girl that
you
was hanging out
at
with
first.
him and his friends and his family and his boys. I mean, he literally took me everywhere. I was by his side. So now, that we together all the time, now you want a break from me.
How soon did that happen afterwards? Did it last? Did the honeymoon stage? Because I'm calling that the honeymoon stage, right?
I'm gonna say we've been in the honeymoon stage since April.
Okay, but I'm saying when did it stop? Because you guys came here in June. So after you left the podcast, you guys were still in the honeymoon stage. How long did the honeymoon stage last before you started noticing the disappearing act on the weekend as you speak about?
2 weeks.
So before July. But y'all didn't break up until last week. Yeah. So did you just kind of say, okay, I'm going to see where this is going to go?
We talked about it. We had a conversation about it. And I said, well, I don't like that you disappeared and you turned your phone off. It wasn't the fact that you didn't come home. It was the fact that I couldn't reach out to you and I couldn't contact you. That was the biggest issue to me, not being able to communicate with you.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, oh, well, it's not going to happen again. Without even admitting to what happened or what was done. Or
Right.
He just got up that morning and called me on his way to work.
So you guys, you still was living at your house. He still was kind of living at his house. And then sometimes.
No, we were living together at
y'all
this
were
time.
together at his home or your home?
At his.
At his house. Okay. And so then it started to be that you talked about the disappearing act on the weekends. Do you know where he was going?
And it wasn't a every weekend thing. He got a pattern. He did this at the end of June.
Okay.
And I think it was like June 30th or something like that.
Okay.
And he was out on a Friday night, and I was like, okay, we always hanging together, so, he can go just be with his boys and have, some me time since we together all the time now.
Right.
I didn't mind that. I didn't care about that.
Okay.
But it was when all of a sudden his phone went, I'm like, did his phone go dead? I'm calling him like it's going straight to voicemail.
Now you at his house?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm in the bed, and I'm like really getting ready to go to bed because it's late.
Right.
It's like midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like texting his friends and cousins that I've been around, like, y'all seen Johnny? Like, I can't get in contact with him. His phone going straight to voicemail. I don't know if it's dead or if he's okay or if he,
Right.
Got to where he's not able to drive home or,
Just
what
worried
it
about
is.
him.
I'm
Worried
just
about
worried.
Him. Yeah.
I'm concerned. So I finally make myself go to sleep because I was worrying so much that I couldn't rest.
Right.
And he knows I worry. I'm a worrier. I'm just naturally that way. And I finally got myself to go to sleep for probably maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. It wasn't long. I woke back up. It was like 4 or 5 in the morning. I just stayed up. And I'm just like, everything is running through my head. And I'm just now thinking like, well, maybe he went back home. That's what I started thinking.
That was your first instinct to think about? Mm-hmm. Why was that the first thing you thought about?
No, I just started thinking about how we started and thinking about his patterns of when we were together, he would turn his phone off.
When he was with you? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's if we were staying overnight together. He would turn his phone off. And I know when he goes to bed at night, he turns his phone off. This is every day. Okay. He doesn't leave his phone on overnight.
Okay.
So when he get to the point where I'm done, I'm at home, I'm resting, I don't want nobody contacting me, that phone going off. So I started to think about that. I'm smart. I pay attention.
Right.
You can't I'm not Boo Boo the Fool. My nickname may be Boo Boo. They do call me Boo Boo. That's what Johnny called me. But I'm not Boo Boo the Fool.
Not Boo Boo the Fool.
Not Boo Boo the Fool. So, and he knows that. He knows me very well. So he comes calling me at 6. He usually get up around 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work, and he usually leaves around 6-ish. And he calls me, and he's like, he fell asleep.
Okay.
And I'm like...
Did you ask him where? Where'd you fall asleep at?
I did say where.
Where did he tell you fell asleep at?
He said he was in his truck.
Sleep in the truck.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh.
Okay.
And I just
so how did you take?
I kind of, I didn't really fuss too much. I was just like, really? Like, he was like, what, you want me to drive? And I wasn't able to drive. You want me to drive like that? And I'm thinking in my head, like, well, why you didn't call me? Like, I would have came and got you if you couldn't drive. Yeah. But I didn't even go there.
Just didn't want to make an argument.
I didn't want to make an argument. I didn't want to nag. I didn't want to do what he was used to, women doing. Right. I'm supposed to be more like the friend. That's how we got along. Okay. So I'm just like, okay. And, he called me throughout the day, and I really was kind of being real nonchalant that day with him. Mm-hmm. I was tired because I didn't really rest. Mm-hmm. I was up all night worried about him. Mm-hmm. So I probably slept majority of that day. And he's used to talking to me during the day while he's at work. We talk every day. Mm-hmm. all day. He got his earphones or his earpods in his, in his ear, where he's able to talk to me while he's moving around.
And this was a Saturday, right? Because you said
This
it
was no. Actually, that was a Thursday night.
Okay, this was a Thursday night.
That was a Thursday night because he went to work the next day.
So the disappearing act happened on a Wednesday night. Thursday night. Friday morning.
Friday morning, he got up and went to work. He called me.
Okay.
And, I started putting stuff together in my head anyways.
Right.
But I wasn't really answering the phone for him like he was used to me doing.
Kind of pissed off.
So I was very, very pissed off.
Yeah.
And, he would say little things like, oh, you're not answering the phone. Oh, you mad. And, saying little things. And you still sleep? Like, wake up. And, I'm like, I'm tired. Like, I was up all night literally waiting on you to see if you were going to call me and let me know you were okay.
Okay.
So
that incident happened. Do y'all get back to good times? Do you forgive him? Do you say, I'm going to quit being mad?
It was instant. I'm a pretty easygoing person. I'm not going to hold no grudge.
Okay.
I kind of know how he is. And I was just like, you know what? Like, don't do that again. Like,
yeah.
Don't do that to me.
Okay.
If you're going to stay gone or something is going to happen where I'm not going to be able to get in contact with you, just let me know ahead of time so I'm not worried.
Okay.
So he was just like, it's not going to happen again. You don't have to worry about that. Boo-boo. I promise it's not going to happen again. So.
Okay. So does he come home Friday?
I was with him.
But do he come home?
Of course, he took me with him. So, yeah.
So Friday he comes back. Things are kind of back. You're hanging out all day Friday, all that weekend.
Doing what we normally do.
Things get back on track. When do more problems start to arise?
Okay, so like I say, it was literally 30 days after he did it. Like it literally was a month later. Like I'm telling you, like clockwork. He did the exact same thing. So this happened the end of June. And then the end of July.
And then the end of July, which, okay. So does the exact same thing. Turn the phone off.
It was actually going into August the 1st. And so it was the end of July going into August 1st.
Okay.
And we had been that whole week had kind of been shaky with us. It was a lot of little turbulence going on that week.
And when you mean shaky, describe what you mean when you say that whole week leading up to August was very shaky for y'all. What do you mean by that?
I was grieving, and he had never experienced that with me.
Did you lose somebody in your family?
My daughter lost her father. My firstborn daughter lost her dad.
When did she lose her dad?
July 27th.
Okay, so that's the week. Grieving that. And when you say just difficult, was it difficult for him to understand that?
Yes, it was very difficult for him to understand. And he told me, he was honest with me. He was very vocal about it. He said that I've never been through anything like this where my girl is crying over, another guy, whatever, in his language. But he was just
another ninja.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So he was like, this is different. I'm trying to be there, but at the same time, it also bothered him. And I was like, I tried to break it down to him, like, okay, Johnny, like he wasn't just her father. We grew up together. I met him at 15. We became friends at a young age. Like his parents treat me like I'm their child.
Right.
And it was real emotional for me.
Right.
And I was okay until my daughter and my mother called me just screaming and hollering. So at that point, I'm in tears. So now it's tugging on me. Because I had been trying to hold all that in. I was sad, of course, but I wasn't crying.
Right.
I was very sad. This was my classmate, my childhood friend, my high school sweetheart. My daughter's dad.
Yeah.
We had a really good relationship.
Yeah.
Up until he died. Like he was one of my closest friends. He would call me and talk to me about anything. I would call him and talk to him. He had problems with his girl. He calling me, telling me about it.
Right.
he got a baby on the way. He calling me, telling me about it. That's just how we were.
Y'all were cool.
Yeah, we were cool.
Yeah.
Like, he was a cool guy. Fred was just a really good person with a really good spirit. And so that really weighed on me. And this is our 20-year class reunion, and he's not going to be there. So I had a lot of different emotions going on. And he saw me cry a lot.
Yeah.
And I could tell he was irritated. And I tried to not be so emotional around him.
Right.
And still show him the attention and affection that he needed.
Right.
As well. And I could tell he was
Did
trying.
you ever ask him why was he so emotional? Like, what did he ever tell you, I'm struggling with it because of this, Star? This is, or did he just say, I ain't never been in a situation where, you know, my mama was crying over some other ninja? Or did he go into depth about why it was difficult for him to?
He didn't really go into depth, but some of the remarks that he made, like I made a couple of posts on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I made a reel, and I made a post just talking about him and how, you know, he was loved, and how, you know, he had a really good career playing football, you know, for Central, and the Razorbacks. And, you know, he had a really, really good career before he got sick. Okay. And he had been dealing with it for a while. But once I made those posts and I put those pictures up, of course, he had some stuff to say. Mm-hmm. And he kind of showed some of his insecurities. Mm-hmm. And not that anything was wrong with that. I can understand where he was coming from. He ended up seeing my ex-husband in one of the pictures with Fred and Fred's daughter. Mm-hmm. At my daughter's sweet 16 birthday party. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, why did you have to post that picture with your ex-husband in it? And I'm like, I honestly wasn't even thinking about it. I just was posting pictures of Fred. I wasn't thinking about, you know, my ex-husband. Was in the picture? Yeah. So when he said something, I just went back and cropped him out, you know. And I was like, okay, I cropped him out. He was like, it don't matter. You didn't have to crop him out. People probably already screenshot it. And they saying this and that. I'm like, ain't nobody doing all that. Right. But that's just where his mind was with that. Yeah. And, you know, the more I grieved, just go be with him. Stuff like that. Mm. So I could tell he was like really, really irritated. Mm. And that whole week was like that. And I really couldn't help how my emotions were because I had to watch my daughter. Right. You know, cry.
How old is your daughter?
She'll be 21 in September. Mm. And my daughter was in Korea when her dad passed. Oh. So she had to leave. She was studying abroad for 6 weeks, and she had to leave 2 weeks early to come back home so we could bury her dad.
So I don't claim to ever know how it made you feel because people don't know that. My kid's mother, which is my ex-wife, my kid's mother passed a year ago this past November. So I get the emotional part. She was my wife. She was my ex-wife, but she's also the mother. I have 2 children by her, and it was unexpected. And so you deal with that they were there the day before and then now gone. Right. You feel so sorry for your babies. You feel like it's not fair. You know, like life is not fair. Like how some people get to have their mother and father to 50. Here I am. I got to have both of my mother and my father like I was 40 something. Right. And then now my kids, one who's 20, one at the time was like 21. The other one was like 27. Taylor was 27. Brian was like 20, 21. Wow. And, you know, they have to go through life without. So how unfair that is, right?
That's what it's all about. You thinking about how unfair it is to them that they don't get to have the rest of their life. You're supposed to, you know, you're going to bury your parents, but you also want to get to where you have children and grandkids and that you get to see them walk down the aisle and do the most important things that we feel like, you know, are important in our lives. Yeah. You want them to be there for those big moments.
How's your daughter doing now?
She's taking it one day at a time. She was supposed to be back in school in Atlanta. She goes to Emory in Atlanta. She's a very smart girl. But she's supposed to be back in school, but she's still here right now. Mm-hmm. She called me the other day while I was at work, and she was like, Mom, just talk to me. And I'm like, well, I'm in class. I'm going to put my earbuds on. She FaceTimed me. And I was like, I'm just going to sit the phone right here. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what's wrong? She said, well, my car is acting up, so I'm in Dad's car. And I was like, oh. And she was like, I had to let all the windows down. I was like, oh, you smell him? She was like, yeah. And it's like his scent is like real strong. And she felt like she was going to have a panic attack.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, just take deep breaths, baby. And I was like, just take your time and, be careful on the road. I don't want anything to happen to you.
Yeah.
So she stayed on the phone with me till she got to her destination. So she's been rocky. She's been up and
They
down.
could expect that.
And she's having to use her dad's car right now.
Yeah.
But she's leaving next weekend to go back to school. So I'm just going to have to keep an eye on her.
Yeah,
right
we're going to
now.
be praying for her. What's her name again?
Her name is Alasia Bledsoe.
Okay. We're praying for Alasia.
Thank you.
Yeah. So getting back to that is after that week was very difficult, kind of target, kind of issues, a little small issues with you and Johnny.
Yeah, it wasn't really anything big, what was it? Friday when I went to his wake. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Friday when I went to the wake. He was like, all right, well, I'm about to get out. I was like, well, I'm going to the wake, and, I'm probably going to be out a long time this evening. Like, I'm going to be out all night because my daughter just made it in town. Mm-hmm. And I hadn't seen her yet. So I was like, I'm probably going to be with her after the wake. So I went to the wake, and I was with my daughter for a little while. It was really, real emotional, and it was so crowded and so packed because so many people loved Fred.
Right.
And it was like people all over the world that came, to his wake.
Yeah.
And so I was there for a while, and, we text very briefly, but he was like, enjoy yourself, Mom. I'm going to be out all night too. So I was like, okay, I didn't really think nothing of it.
Right.
So I decided to go in. It was probably around 11 that night. Mm-hmm. And he was still out. I talked to him. I told him I was on my way to the house, and he didn't respond. So I waited a little while, and I got myself ready for bed, and I started calling him. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's going straight to voicemail.
Phone off.
Mm-hmm. Phone off. And I was like,
normal thing.
Man, he told me he wasn't going to do that again. That's kind of like what was going through my head.
What did you do?
And I'm already grieving, and I'm emotional, and I'm already going through this. And then I really need you to be here for me. But he didn't know how to be there for me. And I understood that. But at the same time, you told me a month ago when we did this, when we went through this a month ago, you told me that that was not going to happen again. Mm-hmm. So I started thinking, okay, maybe I pushed him away. Maybe this was too much. And so I was faulting myself at the same time, but I was also angry. Mm-hmm. I was angry at him for not just talking to me and us being able to get through it, And I'm like, that's a communication thing. You can't just run when things get tough.
Right.
So, and that was my whole thing. So anyways, the next morning, when I say I wasn't feeling good, like I know that whole week I had been grieving. I really wasn't eating much.
Right.
So I know my immune system was weak. Mm-hmm. When I say that next morning I woke up, I was sick. I was sick. I was throwing up. Like I was sick as a dog. Mm-hmm. And I know it was like all the emotions and everything that was like I was internalizing that was going on.
Right.
And he still wasn't answering his phone.
The next morning. Was it still straight to voicemail, or was it on and he wasn't answering at this point?
It wasn't on.
Okay.
It was still going to voicemail.
Okay.
And this was the day of the funeral.
Okay.
I'm sick as a dog.
Yeah. You get up, go to the funeral?
I did not go to the funeral.
Didn't go to the funeral.
And I've been battling with that every day since.
Right.
Because I said I shouldn't have allowed myself to get to that point where I was sick that way for me not to be able to go to my friend's funeral. Mm. And I felt like I let my child down. And I started thinking Star, like you did this to yourself. You can't really blame him because you knew what you were getting yourself into. So I started having all these different mixed emotions as well. So at this point, I'm like livid because I'm like, I'm sacrificing a lot, I'm angry. And He comes in about 11 o'clock. And my bag's packed. All of my stuff is ready to go out the door.
You've packed your bags. You've
All of my stuff is packed because I'm like, I supposed to have been up this morning. I had stuff to do. I'm up all night crying, grieving. I'm sick. I'm not feeling good. I'm nauseous. I'm throwing up. I just don't know what to do with myself. I didn't even want to get out of bed, but I made myself get up and pack my stuff up. So he comes in. Don't say a word. Like everything is okay. I don't say anything. I just let him keep doing it. Just watching him. He turns his game on, start playing his video game. And I'm like, you really not going to say a word? Like, everything is okay. And he knew it wasn't okay because why you not saying nothing at all?
right.
Usually he come in, hey baby, he want to hug on me, he want to kiss on me, because that's how we are.
Right, that's how you interact.
Yeah, that's how we interact. We both very affectionate. He didn't do none of that. So I already knew he was still in his feelings about what had happened during the week anyways.
Right.
So I just kind of took it as, well, he's still really mad, but also at the same time, you ain't been home since,
Right.
I ain't seen you since yesterday afternoon, you know. So I get to where I can't take it anymore.
Okay.
And I start lashing out. And it wasn't pretty. And I'm not going to get into detail about everything
but when
that
you
happened.
say lashing out, you started getting mad, started getting physical.
Like, really, I went in and got in his face
Yeah.
while he was playing his video game.
Yeah.
And was like, and you can't mess with him when he playing with his video game. He
Right.
be irritated. You can't even talk to him. But I got right in his face, and I was like, so you don't have nothing to say to me? And he was like, what you mean? Like, you don't have nothing to say to me. He was like, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. You got your bags packed like you finna leave.
What did you pack your bags? Did you really want to leave, or did you? Sometimes people pack their bags hoping that the person will say, "Baby, please don't leave."
Yep, that's exactly what I was
you packed the
doing.
bag, basically, kind of bluffing a little bit, like. I'm gonna show him that I can't continue to be this doormat, so I got to do something abnormal.
Right.
I'm gonna pack my bags. He's gonna come in and see him. I want him to, like,
Come
wait a
and
minute,
talk to me.
what you doing?
Yeah.
Like, where are you going?
But he didn't do none of that.
Well, and in your mind, obviously he's not here to respond to it, but in your mind, you just felt like he was still mad about that week, still in his feelings, didn't understand it. Was basically giving you the silent treatment. It pissed you off. You were already high emotional.
Right.
Emotional. You got in his face. I'm assuming probably got physical.
I slapped him.
Yeah.
He had that coming.
Yeah.
And he didn't hit me or anything. He just grabbed me. He was like trying to restrain me.
Yeah.
Because I hit him hard.
Yeah.
And I wanted him to feel it.
Right.
Because I wanted him to feel my pain.
Yeah.
How I was feeling in that moment. And I'm not saying that it was right.
Yeah.
You know, I had no business putting my hands on him.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want him putting his hands on me. But in that moment, I didn't care because I'm like, you don't give a damn about me. That's how I started feeling.
How did it end?
It wasn't pretty. It was not pretty. His mom came in the room. His mom had just had surgery, so he was helping take care of her at that time. And she came in and was just like, y'all don't need to be doing this. Pretty much, just came in and was the mediator and calmed everything down. And she talked to me and calmed me down because I'm hysterical crying. And, yeah, just boo-hooing.
Yeah.
And she was like, if you're going to get your stuff and leave, then do that. If not, get your stuff and put it away and calm down.
Did you leave?
No, I did not.
You didn't leave.
I did not leave.
Stay there.
Put my things away. He had something going on that day, so he was getting out. And when I say I went in there and I went to sleep, when I say I was knocked out, I think I was so emotional.
Drained?
That it drained me, and I just went to sleep. I got in the bed, laid across the bed, and I was out. So a few hours after that, he woke me up, and he was like, boo-boo, I'm about to go. He was like, I'm about to go hang out with so-and-so. And I was like, okay. Like, I wasn't trying to get up and go with him or none of that.
Right.
So, of course, he's calling, checking on me, texting me, just trying to see where I'm at, how my head is, and how you feeling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not really just talking about what happened. But he's like, everybody asking about you. They like, where's Star? Where's Star at, Johnny? And I'm telling them you at home resting. And I'm like, oh, okay.
So after this situation, do things get back on the normal, or do it never get back on the normal after this situation?
It was up and down.
Kind of up and down.
Up and down.
Day for day. Different stuff. Yeah.
Because I'm irritated. We're not really having a conversation about what happened. And I'm just supposed to, you really just want me to go with the flow. Just go with it. Act like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Because that's what he's used to. But I told him from the beginning that I'm not going to be like how everybody else was. Like, you're going to have to show me something different for me to stick around.
So it's up and down, but you're still there. He's still coming home. What's the next event?
Okay. So, I really skipped over a lot of stuff, but
that happened in between that July that made it very. Is it very important? Is it things that we probably need to discuss to connect the dots, or are they that?
Well, you haven't asked all your questions yet.
I have not gotten to them yet.
So you're probably going to get to them.
Yeah, I'm probably going to get to them.
Yeah. So we'll get to
so I'm just so you don't dive into it, so you don't have to go back.
Yeah.
So what? So now we're up to August 1st. This is August 17th.
This is August 2nd.
So bring me up to last week.
Last Friday.
Was it Friday? Because I didn't see it until Monday.
I know.
So so bring me up to Friday. Bring me to the straw that broke the camel's back.
Okay, so last Friday, we really weren't just speaking to each other at that point. He stayed up all night. He didn't go to sleep. He was up all night playing that game. And he does that when he got stuff on his mind.
Right.
And we weren't really saying too much to each other. I went to bed that night. I knew he didn't go to bed beside me. He normally, I got to be right up under him for him to go to sleep.
Right.
I got to come over here, and I got to have my leg wrapped around his, and
right.
where my leg at. That's how we was.
Right.
So none of that happened. And I woke up, and he was in the same position that he was in when I went to sleep.
Okay.
Sitting in that chair playing his game. So he paced all night. He went back and forth, going outside and coming back in and playing his game and stuff like that. And I just kind of just walked around and was like trying to figure out like where his mind was. And I know he was irritated because of the way I had been acting during the week, because I still was wanting some answers.
Right.
And he didn't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Let it go. You got people in your ear. He knew people was telling me stuff at this point.
Yeah.
And, he knew I knew for a fact where he was
at
this point.
Okay. So, and then let's talk about that. How did you know where he was? Well, no, where was he?
He was at home with his wife and kids.
And how do you know that?
Somebody told me.
Wait a minute, Star. That's the wrong one. So somebody told you, but I know a woman. You ain't just go off somebody told you.
But
so how did you know where he was?
I know my gut too, my intuition.
Your intuition.
I knew the first time.
Okay, so somebody told you. Your intuition. How else did you know where he was?
They didn't tell me. They confirmed it because I already knew. He didn't even have to tell me. I knew already.
Let me ask you this, Star. We can't tap dance around this.
We ain't gonna tap dance around. I'm getting into it.
Did you ride by their house?
Not that time. We gonna get there.
Okay.
Not that Friday.
Not that Friday. Not that Friday.
We getting into it.
Okay.
We getting into it because this comes after.
But okay, so
this comes
pacing.
This comes
Friday.
during that weekend.
Okay, this pacing. Okay, come on.
So He comes in the room and was like, we're going to have to take a break. I'm like, a break? Oh, when we start doing that? What is a break? I don't even know what a break means. I ain't never had a nigga want to be away from me.
Right.
What is a break? So I just packed my stuff up, and I was like, I didn't want to fuss with him. He can have his break, but I'm taking my things. Mm-hmm. I did leave some stuff, but I took majority of my stuff with me. And once I got done taking my shower and getting dressed, and I was like, you know what, Star? I was like, just, get cute. It's, it's Friday. Go hang out with your family. I was like, just go enjoy yourself.
Okay.
So I got dressed up, did my little hair, put my little clothes on, and I went and told him that I was leaving. I was like, all right, I'm headed out. And he was like, okay. And he was like, well, what? And then he stopped. And I was like, what? And he was like, well, never mind. We'll talk about it later. I was like, okay. So I'm still looking like he had something that he really wanted to say, but he stopped himself.
Okay.
And, we text maybe a few times after I left, but it was very brief. I'm like asking him. He wasn't texting me. I'm like, what you doing?
Yeah.
And, he'll say something here and there. And then I'm like, okay. Well,
most of the texting was you texting
me
him.
texting him.
Okay.
And he was real vague.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. I go get with my family. We hanging out. And I'm getting turned up with them because I'm really just trying to take my mind off of everything.
Yeah.
And not be negative and, not be down about anything. Just really trying to be Star. Mm-hmm. Being my happy self that most people are used to me being. And plus, I didn't want them to know that it was rocky. I didn't want my family to know that, something was going on with us.
Right.
So that night, I'm calling him, and his phone is off.
This Friday night going to Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. And how is late? Mm-hmm. Is it midnight? Is it late? Okay.
It's late. His phone
You're
off.
taking your things with you. Mm-hmm. At your family's. Mm-hmm. Call them late. Mm-hmm. The phone go to voicemail. Mm-hmm. What happens next?
Well, I called a few times. I left him a few voicemails and just giving it to him, telling him how I feel about everything, and just going off. And just in my feelings, really. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of just went to bed, and I got up that morning, and I literally called him, I don't know how many times. He would not answer the phone.
But the phone was ringing at this point in time.
It was ringing, but he wouldn't take my call.
Okay.
And he did that all day long.
This is Saturday. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then I called him Saturday night. His phone was off. He did it again. So at this point, I'm just like, you know what? I already know where he at, but I really just want to go ahead and put my mind at ease and actually confirm that's where he is. Mm-hmm. So I can go ahead and know what the deal is. So, yeah, I rode by. I did a drive-by.
This is on Saturday night. Mm-hmm. Vehicle was at home? Mm-hmm. Did you stop?
I did. I didn't get out the car.
But you stopped. But you stopped.
Briefly in the middle of the street. I didn't go park or none of that. I just, stopped, because really my mind just was I knew already. Mm-hmm. I can't even explain to you how I was feeling in that moment, but I was real angry. And it wasn't angry that he was just at home. It was just angry that he felt like he couldn't be honest and talk to me and tell me where he was, or not where he was physically, but mentally. What's going on? Mm-hmm. Okay, now you're not happy. Is that what it is? And you just want to throw in a towel and you want to go back home? What is it? I don't understand. Mm-hmm. I want you to help me understand. I want you to communicate with me. We better than this. You, my friend.
Right.
You can talk to me about anything. I don't care what it is. Don't be trying to spare my feelings. Be real with me. Right. I say all the time, keep it real, get a better deal.
Right.
At the end of the day, either I'm going to accept it or I'm not going to accept it.
Right.
But be honest with me. So I took a picture.
Took a picture.
Took a picture of his truck.
In the driveway.
In the driveway.
Did you send it to him?
I sent it to him.
To prove that I know where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Here's this picture. You can't lie to me no more.
Mm-hmm.
Did you just send the text, or did you say, call me when you get up? I know. What did you send? What did you say when you sent the picture?
I said, well, I already knew where you were. I said, I'm just sending you this picture to let you know that I did drive by.
Okay.
And that I saw your truck here. I know where you are, pretty much.
Okay.
So you're telling me that you want to take a break because this is what you want to do.
Okay.
And I'm like, you really can just talk to me. Like, we really can have a conversation about this. You don't have to be this person that you being to me right now. So that's what had me so in my feelings, because I'm like, how we get from just being like best of friends, literally being together every single day, to this. And I'm like, okay. So I'm just thinking in my head, like, what has happened the past few months that may have pushed him to this. Okay.
So you send a picture. Does he reply?
To be honest right now, I was so emotional. I don't know what he said after that. Like, it's like a blank spot right there. I know he said something to me.
Through text or through conversation?
Through text and through Messenger on Facebook, because we was kind of going back and forth on text messaging on Messenger as well. And it wasn't like he wasn't explaining himself or nothing. It was just like, you know, we taking a break, like, pretty much. Like, I don't know what a break is. No, tell me what a break is then. But he wouldn't do that. So at this point, he just cuts off all communication. Like, he's not saying anything. He's not answering the phone for me. He's sending me straight to voicemail. He got to where he blocked my number so that I couldn't call at all. And
so then you have to communicate with him through social media?
Until he blocked me on social media too. I had to really, really, like, the crazy star came out. The side of me that I don't like came out. Because I'm like, what? Why are you acting like I did something to you?
And what did you do, Star, when you say the crazy star came out?
The crazy star came out. You know, they want to call you crazy when you start acting up, and, you know, you calling and you messaging them everywhere else. You don't block them on the phone, but now you messaging them on Messenger, and you messaging them on TikTok, and all this, trying to get him to say something to you because you just trying to get his attention because you want him to say something to you.
Right.
Talk to me.
Right.
I need to understand what's going on. I'm broken right now. I don't know what this is.
Right.
I have no idea.
Right.
What is going on? So talk to me. He still has not talked to me.
And this is from last Saturday, Sunday. So then you get up Monday and say, okay, I'm finna go and put it out there. I'm not going.
Because I'm tired. I done cried myself to sleep. You know, I'm mad, but I'm not mad, because I'm like, dude, at the end of the day, we friends before anything.
So somehow, somewhere along the line, something came out on social media. I don't know if it's you put it out there. I'm assuming that he didn't. Somebody else put out there that you were pregnant.
I put that out there.
You put that out there. You said on social media, I'm pregnant with Johnny's baby. What did you say? What did you do? People
just took what I put out there and ran with it. That's what they did.
What did you do?
So I made a post and said, I need some baby names starting with the letter J. So, you know, of course, people saw that and was like, dang, is she pregnant? You know, is she pregnant? So they come in these different names, and people probably screenshotting and all up under the comments, you know, trying to see what I'm saying.
Right.
So one of my Facebook friends said, oh, you pregnant too? And I was like, yep. And I was like, she was like, when you do? I said, in January. So, and I'm doing this because I'm messing with Johnny. I'm like, this will get him to say something.
Right.
He gonna be mad. Like, why you put that out there? But it was also an inside joke between me and him. He and I had a conversation about me being pregnant. And he knew that I wasn't. You know, he knew that I wasn't pregnant. So I knew that was going to irritate him.
Did this work?
No, it did not.
Still didn't communicate.
So I'm still egging it on. I'm like, he gonna say something to me. I'm still putting up these different posts
that y'all done broke
trying
up.
to get his attention.
Right.
And I know he sees it because we're Facebook friends.
Right.
And I'm probably one of his favorites. So all my posts, they pop
First
up.
one.
He's seeing
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, he ain't took my pictures off his page. So
They're still on there.
They still on there. And he been posting on Facebook and stuff, but he's still ignoring me. So I made another post and was like, that baby gonna come out looking just like his ass. And people was laughing at the post, you know. So
let me ask you this. Why did you, so you just did that to get at him? You want to get him, you gonna talk to me, I'm even say I'm pregnant.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this out there, even though me and you don't had this conversation and you know that I'm not pregnant.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get your attention.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were like, she had me until she was faking a pregnancy. No, I didn't fake a pregnancy. This was an inside joke between Johnny and I. Mm-hmm. So we had a conversation about, you know, babies and stuff and about if I could or could not get pregnant and all that. And he know I can't have any more kids.
Right.
But we also had, and I'm going to get real detailed into my personal business.
Mm-hmm.
Up until me and Johnny and I started being intimate, I was having a cycle every month.
Mm-hmm.
And then it stopped. Usually when you ain't having no cycle, you know what that means. I missed my period, I'm pregnant, you know? So he and I were talking about it when I told him, I was like, I don't think I'm pregnant. I was like, but my cycle just done like completely stopped. It has not come back since April, you know? And he was like, what you mean? And you told me you was on birth control. I was like, I am.
Right.
And he was like, well, what you mean? And I was like, well, I don't know. We'll keep, you know, we'll see. I ain't gonna take no pregnancy test or nothing.
Right.
Because I'm like, I'm on birth control, you know. Maybe something else is going on. So we end up going out one weekend. And we're at his cousin's house.
Right.
And one of his cousins was pregnant, and she was holding her little baby on her hip.
Okay.
And he was like, girl, you pregnant again? And she was like, yeah. You know, something happened with the IUD. It came out or something happened with it. It wasn't nothing normal. It was something unusual that was rare that happened, and she ended up being pregnant again. So I looked at him, and I said, oh. And I looked at her. I said, oh, that can happen? And I looked at him.
Because you have an IUD.
I have an IUD.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, that can happen? He was like, girl. He was like, don't do that. I was like, I looked at him side-eyed, and I was just like, and she was like, what, you pregnant? And I was like, no. I was like, I got an IUD too, though. And I was like, you just got me thinking now. I don't go take no pregnancy test or nothing. And I still happen to this day. Because I'm like, I told Johnny, I said, listen, we talked and laughed about this. I said, if I'm pregnant, it was because this baby was meant to be here. This is a miracle child. Because I was told by a doctor I couldn't have any more kids after I had my last child.
Right.
And that was because I almost died with my last baby. I had to have an emergency C-section. And when they cut me, the doctor hit an artery, and it caused me to have an aneurysm. And it took them 2 days. I almost bled to death.
Oh, wow.
It took them 2 days to figure out where I was bleeding out from. And I was in the ICU, and my baby couldn't even be with me. He had to, you know, be in the room with the nurses and stuff, and with my ex-husband at the time. So my ex-husband losing it because he having to go back and forth from me to the baby.
Right.
And long story short, you know, for them to be able to save my life, they had to do a procedure on me that would cause me to have infertility issues, 99%.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, the doctor told me, he was like, when we do this procedure, it's a 99% chance that you will not be able to have any more kids.
Yeah.
Not naturally anyways.
Right.
So I told him that story, and he was like, oh, well, you okay then? I was like, yeah, and I got this IUD, so that's double proof, you know?
Right.
So I'm like, if I'm pregnant, like, this baby was supposed to be here. This is a miracle baby.
Yeah.
So that's where that came from.
Okay. So people, you can understand that story. Because I'm assuming you're getting a lot of backlash for that.
A whole lot of backlash.
And we're going to talk about the message. One other thing that I want to ask you about, and I just thought that I saw that he said, Day, the crazy bitch is outside again. So was that geared towards you?
All my posts, yes, because I was just spazzing off. Like, you ain't saying nothing to me? Okay.
So you just...
All day long.
Okay.
You ain't saying nothing to me? Okay.
Okay.
I didn't go to work that day. I literally was on Facebook all day trying to irritate him.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let's go back. You know, so what do you feel about the people that said, Star, I told you. Star, we told you. What do you feel about the fact that Alicia said, you can have it because I know him. He gonna do you wrong. Mm-hmm. You so in love with somebody. You so in love with a nigga that's gonna do you wrong.
Mm-hmm. He gonna do
just
you
wait.
Like he did everybody
He gonna
else.
do, yeah.
Even his wife, she said, this is what he always do. He'll be back.
That's what the wife said to you?
She put it on one of the posts. She commented. She said he tell all his hoes that he'll be right back. So this is something that she's used to.
How do you feel about that, Star?
I honestly, I blamed myself, and that's why I made that post.
The post about the babe, the long post?
No, the long post that I recently made that everybody was like, oh, okay. I made a post apologizing to Johnny.
Yeah.
And that was mainly about me putting the baby thing out there because that was an inside joke between he and I. He knew I wasn't pregnant. But I basically was apologizing to him because I wasn't trying to humiliate him or just throw him under the bus either. Because I understood some things, but also I still wanted answers. But I was just clearing my part. Right. That was me clearing the air.
About
just
me
saying,
lying about the baby. Yeah. He ain't a bad... And I said, if you know Johnny, he's being Johnny. And that was just me clearing the air. Johnny is doing what he has always done. His wife is used to it. You might as well say they have an open marriage. He has had several relationships, long term, while they've been married. And, she tell him, okay, baby, you can just come back home when you're ready. That's what she accepts from him. So, but I had told Johnny, I said, if you're not going to get a divorce, I'm not going to stick around. I can't give you 5 and 6, 7 years like the ones before me. Are you embarrassed?
I wouldn't say that I'm embarrassed. I put it out there because I didn't have to tell nobody what was going on.
Right.
I could have just left it alone and just been quiet about everything.
Right.
But since everybody was already watching us and just trying to see, they made a lot of little comments like they gonna last 3 months. We gonna wait and see, So they watching to see if Star and Johnny gonna make it. So it really put a lot of pressure on us.
I asked you that question, both of y'all. I
said, a lot of pressure on us.
Does it make more pressure for you guys to make it since people are rooting for you guys not?
And I think it made us move too fast.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of stuff happened really, really fast after that podcast instead of us just moving slow. And I think it was all the pressure. And he's like, well, I left for you. So this is what we about to do. I'm like, we get up and go to the lawyer's office like he finna really foul and all this. He really had me like thinking that this is what he wanted. This is what he's going to do. Okay, he really finna go get a divorce this time. I'm believing him because I'm with him and I see him doing this. He's talking to his lawyer. Even his lawyer said like, dang,
but everybody told you, Star. Everybody told you this, right?
Yeah, everybody told me. And I had to own my shit. I had to take accountability for Star. No, I'm not finna be embarrassed because it's already out there. Be embarrassed for what? I knew what I was getting myself into. We grown. I know his history. I know this is why I always ran from him. I always ran. But look at this. Catch this. Most of the time when I was running from Johnny, I was healthy. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I was probably already in a relationship or dating somebody else. So it was easy for me to be
block
like,
it.
Boy, bye.
Mm-hmm.
You got too much going on. You doing this and you doing it. I ain't got time to be in a mix with you and all your, You keep a lot of women. I'm not dealing with that. But at this point in my life, at this big old age, I'm 38. I'm sure not 40. They said I was 40 and pregnant. But yeah, anyways. I made a whole post about I'm 38, by the way. I'll be 39 in October. I'm not 40. But anyways, at this age, I've been through a lot. And like I've been in my darkest season. Like still am. I haven't come out of it yet. So he came along while I was very vulnerable. And
Broken?
Broken. I'm talking about like broken into pieces where I can't be put back together. In which I know that's just me saying that I know I'm stronger than that, and I know that I am putting myself back together at this point. And I really feel like this was the motivation that I needed for me to just focus on Star. But when he came along, he made me feel alive. So I was getting something that I hadn't gotten in a while. I was happy for once, and I had somebody to listen to me and talk to me and actually have real deep, like heartfelt conversations with without any judgment. I literally told him my entire life story. He told me his. That's how we were. So that's how we bonded so well. Johnny loved me like no other man has loved me. So that's what made me so easy to fall. And I knew I was being naive. I still had in the back of my mind that...
Do you think he was love bombing you?
That's what I feel like. At the same time, I believed him. But now when I look back, I'd be like, was he love bombing me or was he really sincere? And I still can't answer that.
Let me ask you this. You still in love with him?
I still am.
You think he still loves you?
I do. And I think that he doesn't know what to say to me. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why he doesn't want to communicate. And I think he feels like I just left. But I'm like, why would you want me to just sit there and go through that when I already told you that that's not something that I'm going to deal with? I'm not weak like that. I'm just not going to sit and let you walk all over me.
Do you believe that that a person can love two people at the same time?
I do.
You think he loves his wife still?
I do.
So you think he's in love with two people?
Mm-hmm. I do. I think he really is confused about what he wants right now.
Yeah.
I know he was missing his kids, being at home with them. I also know he, I'm not going to say that, but I just think he's just caught in the middle right now. And he's like, well, do I want this or do I want that? Okay, yeah, I can have fun with her and we can kick it and turn up, but she's not doing everything my wife doing. And this is what I told him. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, somebody said it to me. They was like, well, you're not his wife. And something clicked in my head and I was like, you know what? Girl, hold up. You need to wake up. Like, this man is married. First of all, you wrong, and I accept that. But you can't help who you love either. Love is love, regardless. And I'm like, she been accepting this. So I'm not finna feel sorry for her, because this is what they do. And she know him better, way better than I do. You know what I mean? He leaves. That's what he does. His homeboy was like, this is Johnny. Star, wake up. This is Johnny. Like, you either gonna accept it or you not. This is him. This is what he does. He leaves and he goes back. He goes back and forth. And that's his wife. She allows him to do that. You're not his wife.
Did you ever have any conversation with her?
Yeah, that's why I said I done skipped a lot of stuff.
So did you have a conversation with her?
Yeah, we ended up having an hour-long conversation while he was asleep one night.
And how did that happen?
He was sleeping.
And why did that happen?
Well, one of her cousins is my friend. And my friend was concerned about me. So she was checking on me and stuff. And she was getting information and was asking me, what was going on to see if I knew certain things. Mm-hmm. She wasn't necessarily telling me anything, but just trying to see if I knew something, because she knew something.
She knew that he was dibbling dabbling back at the crib.
She knew he was going back and forth.
Okay.
And that's because her cousin was telling her.
Right.
And that's because the cousin wanted me to know.
Right.
I want him to know that, I want Star to know that he's still coming home.
Right.
And we're still together. And he's saying that he's tired of pretending and he wants his family back.
Okay.
So after that conversation, which like it was going on during that week before we said we were going to take a break, I woke him up and I was just like, so you pretending? He was like, what you talking about? Come on, go to bed, lay down. You tripping. I'm like, no, I'm not tripping. I was like, I just talked to your wife.
So the wife actually told you that? He does that all the time. He's going to come back home.
She was like, he's done it twice already. And I was like, yeah, I know. And she was like, so how you feel about that? And I was like, well, you said this is what he always do. I mean, you used to him doing this. I'm not going to deal with it. He's not going to walk all over me.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been through this before, and I have never tolerated it, and I'm not going to start tolerating it now because I know my worth and I know what I deserve. I may be broken and vulnerable now, but I'm still not going to let you walk all over me and have me more scarred than I already am. And that's why I was so hurt at him, because I'm like, he of all people knows what I'm going through right now, and you going to do this to me?
So I want to get back to the conversation. So you have this hour-long conversation with her. She basically tells you.
And you know what? I didn't wake him up. Actually, he started looking for me. I was sitting outside in the backyard on the patio.
Talking.
And I think he came to the door and he didn't see me. So he went around front, and all I heard was somebody yelling boo-boo. So he was calling for me, like, where you at? Because he saw my car. And he like, where's she at? I don't see her around the house or nowhere. So let me ask you this.
Do you feel like that conversation with her was needed for you?
I don't think it was needed because I already knew.
So why did you have the conversation with her then?
I can't just really answer that. I just...
Do you feel like you wanted to know some information that you probably felt like she was going to connect the dots?
No, to be honest with you, I wish I didn't have that conversation because it made things worse. After I had that conversation with her, he was real cold.
How was you? How you talking about his mental state? How was you?
I can say that I was too. I was up and down. I know.
Did she tell you some things that you didn't know?
Mm-hmm.
She told you some things that you didn't know. Mm-hmm. Did you believe her?
I did.
You felt like she had no reason to lie?
Mm-hmm.
You felt like that her heart was in a good place by telling you those things? Or do you feel like she was saying, now, bitch, this is what's going on, so. So you think you got something?
That's what she was
This
doing.
is what you got.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this.
It wasn't to protect me.
Right.
It was basically just letting me
know. And I ain't calling you no bitch. I'm sorry. I know. But you know, sometimes women be on that.
Yeah,
women be on that.
Yeah.
So you felt like she was just basically taking a knife, putting it in, and just kind of.
Like, yeah, bitch, he's still coming home to me. That's still my man. He's still sleeping with me. We still being a family. He missing us. He said he pretending with you. And I'm like, girl, well, if he pretending, like, why pretend if you want to go home? Go home.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me that this is not what you want. Why are you playing both sides?
Mm-hmm.
Go home to your family if that's what you want. I'm not making you stay here. I'm not holding you hostage. If we're not going to be together and you just want to be friends, then just say that.
Right.
Save me the heartache. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't just be sitting here like this is what you want, and it's not. So that's why I'm still angry at him, because I want to know, like, why was that even necessary? We could have kept doing what we was doing. I could have kept being your friend on the weekend and kicking it and having fun with you and saved all my tears and my heartache and pain. But you sit up here love bombing me and telling me that you finna get a divorce, taking me to the damn lawyer office with you like you really finna do this shit. And in the back of your mind, you like, no, I'm gonna just lead her on as long as I can because I like how she make me feel. But I can still keep my wife. I ain't got to go through no divorce and go through all the hard shit with that.
Do you think that? So anyway, after you finish having this conversation, it makes it difficult. He gets colder.
And he tells me, he said, I told you not to have a conversation with them, because he knew somebody else connected us, because I don't have his wife's number.
Right.
I told you I don't like her, and I don't want you dealing with her. And if that's what you're going to be doing, then we might as well just not even be doing nothing at all. Because I don't want you having no conversations with them.
And this is leading up to, this is y'all still in the house, but this is leading up afterwards.
Even his homeboy, he said, Star, that's where you messed up at when you talked to his wife. He was like, y'all would have still been able to get through it. But when you talk to her, that's a no-no.
That was a no-no as it relates to,
He was like, that's his wife.
And let me just tell you, like, we keep it at 100, right? We gonna keep it 100.
Yeah.
Same situation kind of happened to me. Mm-hmm. Exact same situation.
I remember you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so what I told my lady friend was I didn't see the purpose. I just didn't see the benefit in it for her. I saw the benefit in it for the ex-wife, but I didn't see the benefit in her. Mm-hmm. Like, why?
But I'm listening.
It's only going to make you worse.
Right.
It's going to make the situation worse. She's going to take 50% of the truth, mix it with 50% of lies.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a hard time because you cloudy. You already kind of question your relationship. You're going to have a hard time distinguishing what part of it is true, what part of it is a lie.
And I'm already mad.
So it was no purpose to have that conversation.
And I regret having that conversation.
But you had it.
I wish me and him would have just got to where we could talk about things and I not had that conversation with her. Because like I said, it really was unnecessary. I already knew. I didn't even have to have the details, I just knew he was there.
Okay. Got a couple other questions for you. If Johnny wanted to come back home to you right now, would you accept him back? Star. If Johnny wanted to come home, as much as I know you love this man, as much as your heart hurts, as much as I feel like you still want him.
A part of me does.
Yeah. So if he comes and says, because this is a pivotal moment, right?
Yeah.
So this question, obviously, just like some of the other questions from the other podcasts, people are saying, see? So my question to you is, are you at a point where you can say no to him if he asks to come back home? Or if he asks you to come back home, basically?
I feel like at this point, like he got me to where...
Closer to the mic. Yeah.
I'm sorry. My voice is kind of...
Go ahead. Take your time. You need water? You got your water?
It's making me emotional. But,
drink your water.
Yeah, let me drink some water.
I'm going to drink me a margarita.
I feel like he pushed me to a point to where I have to choose me because I gave him the benefit of the doubt. And I already knew what I was getting myself into. But I also warned him prior to what state I was in. Sorry. But I warned him about what state I was in. Johnny, I'm dealing with a lot. Like, when you came along, I had just told myself that I wasn't going to be in any relationships, that I was not where I needed to be able to handle a relationship. And I knew I had made up my mind right before March that if I got into another relationship, it was going to be so bad on me. And I was already at my lowest. I couldn't take another heartbreak. I couldn't take another toxic relationship. I really had to focus on Star to get me back to where I need to be. Because I done been through so much in the last 2 years. I got divorced July of 2022. And ever since then, like, my life has been downhill, one thing after another. Like, I told him, I went into detail about how I literally lost everything and had nothing, to being homeless and to having to give my children to their father so they could have stability. And you told me you felt sorry for me, and you cannot believe that I went through all that. So I let you know this to let you know what you was getting yourself into. Mm-hmm. To let you know that right now it's a whole lot of shit that I got going on, and I can't handle no more. I can't handle no more mess, no more drama, none of that. So,
and you feel like he fumbled you. He fumbled that situation. He played. He basically caught you at your brokenness, your vulnerableness, lowest point that you've been.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was genuine with him talking to you and helping you through that.
I do too.
Yeah.
And that's why
That
I said
he had great intentions.
Yeah, I do think he had great intentions, and Johnny, he got a lot of stuff that he dealing with too.
Yeah.
And I understand that. I'm a very understanding person. I'm a free spirit. I'm open minded. I see things in ways that most people don't, and that's why a lot of people don't know how to take me, because I'm so honest and I'm so blunt. But I've went through so much in life, and that's why I'm the way that I am. I used to be this shy person that would not talk, and you would never be able to look at me and tell that I used to be that way. But once I found my voice, I've been talking ever since. And I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. I'm not going to hide nothing. It is what it is. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be truthful. If I was wrong, I was wrong. I'm going to take accountability for it. I'm not going to sit there and blame nobody else and play the victim, or, just sit out here and act like I don't have issues. I'm going to own up to my shit. But I just felt like me and him were where we could just be completely open and honest about everything. Johnny, like I said, he loved me like I've never been loved before in my life, so this was different, and that's why it's so hard. He did things that ain't no man did for me before, not even my ex-husband. So I looked at him differently. I had a different level of respect for him. So a lot of people, like even his homeboy, he was like, it was your expectations. And I was like, yeah, it was.
But that means that they were too high?
They were too high.
For him?
And they were too high for him. And, when you're not happy in your marriage, I've been married before, and I told him that when you're not happy in your marriage and, you're going back and forth and you're just trying to really just get, figure stuff out. Do I want this or do I not want it? I've been there before. And I could understand what he was going through, but I couldn't understand the no communication part. And I could have still been able to be there like he wanted me to be, but it was the way he handled things that I did not like. And he always talked to me about communication. You always talking to me about communication. Say this, say that, but you couldn't give me that back. And what I meant by he did stuff that no other men did, like he was really concerned about my health, my mental health. I've been taking medication for anxiety, depression, PTSD since it's been 10 years in November. When I started knowing that I had issues with mental health almost 10 years ago, I was having panic attacks very frequently. Like I thought I was having a heart attack. So I ended up going to the hospital. My mom came and got me from work one day because I just felt like I was about to be out of here. And 10 years ago, I was only 28 years old, getting ready to turn 29. So I wasn't even in my 30s yet, and I was dealing with this. And I'm like, what's going on? And when I finally, got to the doctor, and they was like, well, you having panic attacks, and we're going to give you this medication, try this and see if it helps. And my mom was like, I don't want you taking no medication or have to depend on nothing, for the rest of your life. And I was like, well, I'm just going to take it and see if I feel better. So fast forward, to this point, I'm still taking medication.
Yeah.
I'm not on that same medicine that I was on. They had to put me on something stronger.
Right.
What they had me on didn't work for me. But what I found out when I started going to therapy was that I had a lot of issues bottled up inside of me that I had been dealing with since I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
I've been traumatized. My inner child has not healed. I have a lot of things that I haven't dealt with, and it was starting to show up in my life.
Are you in therapy?
I stopped my therapy last summer, but I'm getting ready to start my therapy back up at this point because I'm going to need it to get me where I need to be.
Right.
Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, all of that.
Right.
Because my divorce in 2022 really put me in a dark place. You know, from me losing my house and losing my car, like I literally lost everything that I own. I wasn't working. I had no income, and I struggled. I'm still struggling. I still have not gotten back to the star that I know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a go-getter. I'm an entrepreneur. You know, I got a master's degree. I'm not doing anything with my businesses. I have a nonprofit organization for me to give back to my community.
We're going to talk about
that
too. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, and so a lot of things that I was doing before, within those last 2 years, even my mental health awareness events, like I used to have them every single year. I have not done it in the last 2 years. I have not gotten back to STAR. So when I said in that post about how I've been letting relationships distract me, that's what I meant. And that's what I meant by me self-sabotaging. Because they ain't doing nothing that I'm not allowing them to do.
We're going to get into that. Let me ask you a question. When you would start going through this as of last Monday, a lot of your friends are reaching out to you. I'm seeing that some of the people on social media are not handling you rough. They're saying, I get it. You shouldn't have did what you did, but I feel you.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of messages. A lot of people are agreeing with you. Are you getting a lot of message with people saying, you deserve that?
Well,
hate messages? Are you getting a lot of those?
Honestly, I haven't got any hate messages. I saw a lot of subliminal messages from other people that are watching me.
Right.
You know, and some of them I didn't see. You know, I had people screenshotting them and showing them to me.
How do they make you feel?
A lot of them I go and comment on. You know,
you're so damn petty.
People don't know how to take me.
Is that you being petty?
I am.
So you say, I'm going to go comment on these, man, because I know you're talking about it. Do they reply back?
They do. Some of them do.
Okay.
And I be ready for them to reply back.
Okay.
Like, I'm real. I wouldn't say that. I have a sense of humor, but I'm also clever. I'm a very smart individual.
Right.
I'm very intelligent. It ain't too much you're going to be able to, it ain't too much you're going to be able to get over my head or be able to say to me to get up under my skin. I got to really allow you to get under my skin.
What was that post that Chris Ware posted about you, about how loud you was?
She was like, one thing I like about Star is she was loud in love, and now she loud and fed up.
Yeah.
You're going to get the same Star every time.
So let me ask you this. In this relationship with Johnny, you ruined the friendship.
And
have you talked to Alicia?
That's what hurt the most.
Have you talked to her?
I have not talked to Alicia. I know Johnny's little sister Ashley told me. She was like, well, Alicia told you. And she was like, she said whenever she got a chance to talk to you again, that she would talk to you and she would tell you that she told you. And I cried, and I was just like, well, I said I never disregarded what she said. I did take what she said, and I didn't take it lightly because I know that she knows him well, too. Mm-hmm. You know, you've been around his family for a long time. Y'all have a 22-year-old child together, you know. So I know you know him. You know, she done been in the house with Johnny while Johnny was in the house with another woman and caught him in action. So I'm like, they know him. And I was being naive, giving him the benefit of the doubt because I really thought that this was what we had was totally different.
Yeah.
Because like we literally was like best friends.
Yeah.
This man wanted to know what kind of medication I took. He looked up the benefits, the pros, the cons, the side effects.
Yeah.
He wanted to know how the medicine made me feel. Like he really acted like, I'm not going to even say it was an act. He really wanted to be in tune with everything so he could help me and not hinder me.
Yeah.
And that's what even made it, you know, stronger. And I'm like, wow, he really cared. Like, this man looking up what medications I'm taking and what side effects. And he was reading the side effects like, yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you do be like this and you do that. So he was really, like, paying attention to me.
Do you feel the same way that you felt as it relates to your dealings with Johnny and the fact that your best friends feel like you violated her, do you still feel the same way that you did in June?
I honestly, I don't think I would have did anything differently because I'm in love, and love make you do some crazy shit, you know. But I also know that when you have good friends are rare. They don't come around often. You know, you can't call everybody your friend. But I do know that Alicia was a really good friend to me.
Do you feel like maybe you could have said something?
I'm sorry.
No, take your time.
But and I knew I was gonna be emotional because I'm already in that state anyways. But I'm not gonna hold my tears back either because I'm human.
Nah, do your thing.
But we had a really, really good relationship, and like I said, you know, in the beginning, me and Alicia didn't care for each other, and it wasn't that I didn't care for her. She just knew that I was somebody Johnny had a past with that he liked, and once we were grown adults, we were able to laugh and talk about, you know, what happened in high school and how she was, you know, she was pregnant with Johnny's baby when I met her. And we were in the 9th grade. And I remember one of my friends came up to me and was like, that girl don't like you. She said you be talking to her baby daddy. And then, like, my aunt was really close with Johnny's brother, and she would be around all the time trying to make Alicia jealous, saying little stuff like, Johnny, where my niece? Like, where Boo-Boo? Where's Star? You talk to her. Oh, she's so pretty. You know, saying stuff to get under her skin. And Johnny would be talking back to her like Alicia wasn't right there. So she would be irritated with me. Even though me and Johnny wasn't messing around, wasn't nothing going on. It was just a crush. That's it. We've been crushing on each other since we was, like they said, in kindergarten in 1991.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, you know, they be joking about that 1991.
Right. Yeah, I done seen a lot of that around.
Yes, but, yeah, it was 1991. But, you know, kids do have crushes in kindergarten. I had a crush in kindergarten. My son had a crush in kindergarten. You know, who didn't like somebody in kindergarten, you know? You just don't think that you're going to grow up and be with that person. I don't know. As a child, you might do think like that. Yeah. But, you know, it's just puppy love, you know.
So you do still feel the same as it relates to, do you feel like maybe what the one thing you probably could have changed is when you decided at the beginning to tell her sooner rather than let it go on for 2 or 3 months?
Yeah, I wish I would have said something like initially, like, because me and her were that close. Yeah. And like, we talked all the time. Like, we've talked about doing business stuff together. We've traveled together.
Do you think that would have made a difference?
I don't think it would have. I don't think it would have made a difference.
Still would have been mad because it was who it was, right? I mean, had you told her day 1 versus day 91, it still would have been the same outcome. I think she still would have been
upset with me.
Yeah.
And she probably would have been like, you know, saying the same thing, Star. It ain't gonna go nowhere. Right. You deserve better. You know, you my friend. And I know Johnny, he this, and that, and he ain't gonna do right by you.
You miss her?
And do I miss Johnny?
No.
Do I miss who?
Alicia.
Alicia? Oh, yeah. I done checked up on her. You know, she don't know that.
Yeah.
But I know she's doing well, and I wish her well. I know she's in nursing school, and I'm proud of her, and I'm still rooting for Alicia because I want what's best for her as well. I still love Alicia. You know, I got a lot of backlash about how you call her your sister and how you say you love her, then you turn around and do this. Love is love. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I wasn't going to stop loving her, like, you know, because of a decision that I made. But I also know in life, sometimes you have to make hard choices. And sometimes it's not good to choose a man over your friendship, because that's something that you might have for the rest of your life. You know, relationships come and go, but rare friends are hard to find. So just me, if I was to give somebody some advice, if you're in a situation like that, choose your friend.
So let me ask you, I want to make this very clear. So you're saying, because that was one of the questions that I was going to ask, if you could do it over again.
Yeah.
If you had an opportunity to do it over again, you would say you would not choose to date Johnny.
And I think I'm saying that because of what I just went through.
Yeah.
And so I can't honestly say, had I not went through this with him, that I would still not do the same thing. But I'm just saying from what I've been through right now, from this experience, I understood. I can't remember who told me that, but I understood that piece of advice that I was given about not choosing a person, partner or person that you're interested in over a really good friendship. Because that friend gonna be there to see you when you change spouses, when you change boyfriends or girlfriends. They gonna be there to wipe your tears and tell you you deserve better than that.
Yeah.
I told you, don't do that. I still got your back. I'm still here. They gonna be here for the long haul.
Yeah. And let me
That's
just say,
something you can't
no,
get
you
back.
good. And I'm hoping, Star, that at some point in time, God will connect that friendship back, right? And I'm hoping that however it happens, whether it be you say at some point in time, I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call.
Yeah.
Whether she says, I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping, and I think I told you that the day of as well. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that he repairs that. I know it might, I think I said that night. Sometimes time has to be in between those things.
And I wasn't in no state to be able to go through none of this, well, or take it well. And, heartbreak is heartbreak anyway, but just where I am right now.
So you feel like now you've lost a best friend and you've lost your love. You've lost Johnny and you've lost her.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm in I feel like I'm in a darker space than what I was in before. And that's what I did not want to happen.
Yeah.
Because she was the one that I would talk to about stuff like that. So I understood when she said, that's not nobody I can't have a conversation with you about. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I told you how he is. You already know. Mm-hmm. And I can't sit up and watch you, talk about him or have conversations with you while you crying over my baby daddy, Mm-hmm. And I got that. I never, even after everything that happened, I never got mad at Alicia because I understood her pain. And hurt people. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When you hurt, you're more likely going to hurt somebody else. You're going to bleed on somebody, whether that person cut you or not. If you're hurting, you're going to hurt somebody else until you heal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I speak a lot about that. When I started my mental health awareness events, it was for, it was mainly, I started them around Mother's Day because it was for women empowerment, but it was mainly for, these type of issues, people going through things and not healing and not dealing with their issues and then bleeding on other people. So, I felt like I knew better, but I'm also human. But,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I knew better. Mm-hmm. I still love Johnny. I'm still in love with him. Yes, I'm hurt. Mm-hmm. Yes, I feel like I should have did some things differently. Mm-hmm. I think I just got head over heels and my head was in the clouds. And, like I said, I'm in a vulnerable state and he made me happy. So I'm feeling alive with him and I'm feeling happy. And this person really got my back. They looking after me. Did you take your meds today? Because you ain't acting like he would do stuff like that. And you need to go take your meds because you be tripping. So, just all of that. But I think a lot of the things that Johnny wanted from me, I wasn't giving him.
And what do you think that was?
And first of all, let me say this. I wasn't in a place
to give
because I feel like where I'm at, I'm depleted. I don't have nothing to give right now. I can't pour from an empty cup. And I think he wanted me to be this person that I really wasn't at a stage yet in my life to be able to be that for him. And what I mean by that is when he at home, his wife probably do certain things. She probably, I know for a fact, she make his breakfast every single morning. She's sending him with some lunch. It's rare that he will probably go to work without breakfast and lunch. And I remember when we did the podcast, one of his homeboys that he worked with said, Johnny, no more breakfast for you. And,
You ain't getting no more damn breakfast?
You ain't getting no more damn breakfast. And it was funny because he one of my homeboys too, so I know him. It tickled me. And he knew I wasn't finna be getting up early in the morning, making Johnny no breakfast every morning. You know, I might do it every now and then, but it wasn't gonna be no everyday thing. So he knew me. He was like, oh yeah, Star ain't finna be getting up cooking that nigga no breakfast every morning. Oh, he messed up. But, and me and him had a conversation. He was like, you know, I don't expect you to do everything that she did.
Yeah.
But.
And I don't want to rush you. I don't want to interrupt you. I want to read your post, okay? Mm-hmm. You say, I want to make a public apology to my friend Johnny Capone. None of these things posted this week were true. It was just for content. And of course, we had to make it juicy. He's still my friend. I'm not with child. I always love him. I always love him. I'm assuming that's what you're saying. He didn't do anything to me. I was only hurting myself. If you know him, you know that this is who he is. I chose to remove myself from the situation. I'm not the person, and I haven't taken the time to heal from my divorce. I've just been vulnerable, self-sabotaging instead of healing from trauma. It seems easier to deal with instead of dealing with my problems. It was helping me avoid the bigger issues. I had to realize that I don't need a man to be happy. It's okay to be wanted and have friends or a date, but at this point in my life, I have to focus on me. I will continue. I can't keep trying to pour from an empty cup. I don't have anything left to give, and I'm becoming numb. Relationship have only been a distraction for me. It's just been one toxic situation after another. When I'm in love, I focus completely on the other person and sacrifice what I need to do for myself. I love love. I love taking care of others and making them happy. Let me see if I can make my place back in. Like I have to go to the next sound.
And go back right there.
Taking care of others while making them happy. While all along, I'm suffering inside and hiding my pain. This has been nothing but spiritual warfare. Yes, warfare. Yes, I've been smiling, but I'm not okay. I know better. And that's why the enemy has attacked me from every angle. I know my worth. I deserve better. My mental health is not where it needs to be. I need therapy and time to love myself. It's okay to be alone and focus on yourself. It's okay to heal. It's okay to go to therapy. It's okay to date yourself. I want to be in love with Star. I've always been in a relationship. I don't know who I am without being attached to someone else. It's time for me to figure out who Star is and heal my inner child that just wants to be loved. Change me, oh God. Change me, oh God. Make me more like you. Change me, oh God. Wash me through and through. Create in me a clean heart so that I may worship you. The last part is follow me on my healing journey. You are not alone and you don't have to do it alone. Thank you to everyone who reached out to me this week with your hopes and prayers. Thank you for seeing me as a human being and not judging me. I love you all. This is my testimony. We talked about the ministry that you used to have. In your women ministry, I think Alicia had talked about that. And you talked about some of the things that you were doing that you had kind of got distracted that you're going to start back doing. Mm-hmm. We talked about the fact that you're going to get back in therapy so that you could get the healing that you need. Mm-hmm. You obviously love very hard.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell that.
Most of my relationships are long term. I've never been in a very short relationship like this one. I was with my ex-husband 10 years, but the last 2 relationships I done been in since him make me look at that man totally different. I feel like he perfect compared to what I just been through the last 2 years. And I felt like a lot of the stuff that I really thought was an issue in my marriage really wasn't, something that we wouldn't have been able to get through. I done seen people get through a lot worse. So I look at a lot of stuff differently now, And I mean, it's learning experience, it's life. You go through stuff like that, you experience different people and you see, okay, well, dang, well, maybe that person wasn't so bad. They didn't do none of that. My husband didn't disappear on me and go be with other women. And, I ain't see him for months at a time, or he was with somebody else for years, none of that. He did none of that. The problems that we had seem small now. And I'm like, shit, we should have just went to therapy and made it work. You know what I mean? But if I got to deal with all this stuff, but yeah, it made me look at him in a different light and have a different respect for him. He ain't been out publicly with nobody since our divorce. Like, he ain't jumped into no relationship. He probably done had some friends, but he ain't putting it out there. He's very private anyways, and I love that. He's always been private. You ain't gonna find out nothing about him on social media. You know what I mean? But that's just how he is. That's how he carries himself. But it makes me look at relationships totally different. And it makes me want to be better and just like, that's why I said I think this situation has pushed me to where I needed to be. Like, I really got to my breaking point. And I'm like, okay, God, I hear you. You whooping my butt because I've been being disobedient. And you stripped everything away from me because I needed to start over again. Because I needed to be rebuilt. I needed to let some things go. And I'm supposed to be doing what I'm called to do, which is being in ministry, serving my community, doing the things that I'm doing, being a motivational speaker. You done invested into this motivational speaking career and you're not doing anything. I haven't done anything. I haven't spoken in 2 years. But, I have had some people reach out to me, about events they have going on. They want me to come speak. And I feel like where I am right now is the perfect opportunity for me to tell my story and for me to be able to reach other women that are going through what I'm going through, but don't have a voice because they are afraid to speak up about their life and what they're dealing with. And I'm not afraid to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not afraid to talk about it. Most people, when they meet me, they love me right off the bat. If somebody don't like me, they hating.
Right.
And and it's because of my spirit.
Right.
It's because of the way I love.
Yeah.
It's because of the way I help people. Yeah. I may have my last $10 and I see somebody that need it, I'm going to give it to you, knowing I ain't got nothing else. And that's kind of where I've been the last 2 years. I haven't had a lot to give, and I've still been giving. I've been giving my last. And I'm like, Star, where does it stop? It's time for you to pick yourself up and allow somebody to pour into you, allow somebody to help you. And you can't be with nobody that ain't healed themselves. He got to go heal himself. How he going to give to you and he ain't healed himself? So that's why I say I understand where he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not mad at him.
So you haven't talked to him. Mm-hmm. All right. And I normally end, we're about to wrap this up. Uh-huh. You haven't talked to him. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure he's probably going to watch this.
I know he is. And so he's probably going to be disappointed.
If you have an opportunity and you get 30 seconds to tell him something, this is the opportunity. Talk to him. If you had an opportunity to talk to him, what would you say to him?
I would say, Johnny, I'm disappointed, but, I still love you. I always will. I always have. And I'm still going to be your friend at the end of the day. I just don't like how you handled me.
Yeah.
I don't like how you handle things. And I think you could have did better than that because we were supposed to be better than that. Our bond is better than that. You didn't have to just, ghost me and not talk to me at all. I felt like you owed me an explanation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, listen, I want to pray for you. Father God, how I do love you. I ask you to work with Star, build her up. She is empty. Father God, you said that you can do that. You know her heart. You know what type of person she is. You know the ministries that she serves. You know the motivational speaking that she does. Father, lift her up. You know best, Father. Her cup is empty. Fill her cup back up. Make her be obedient to the word that you say she should be obedient to. Father God, I also pray for Johnny. Whatever has his heart, protect him as well. Father God, I also list Alicia. I ask, Father God, if it's meant for them, their friendship to be back, that you make it easy for their friendship to be repaired. But I lift up Star today, Father. Guide her where she needs to be. Fill her up. Guide her mind. Guide her heart. Protect her heart. Repair her heart. She's broken. She's your child, Father. Before she was Johnny's girlfriend, she was your child. I ask these words in Jesus' name. Amen. And let me just tell you this, Star. I think you are a good person. I think your heart is in the right place. I think you're very vulnerable. I think you're very, you believe what people say. And that doesn't make you a bad person. That doesn't. I'm glad that you said that you need to get back in therapy. You need to do that. You need to make that your business to do that. Yeah. You really do. I hope that when I saw it last week, I picked the phone up and I called. And what did I say to you?
You wanted to check on me.
I said, I just want to check on you, Star. I said, it's not even about having a conversation. I needed to check on. I didn't call Johnny, but I inboxed Johnny. I said, bro, are you straight? Because I felt like you guys were the Bonnie and Clyde, and I felt like people were pushing for you guys not to. So Johnny's still my guy. That's still my guy.
He's still my guy. I talked to one of his brothers yesterday, and he was like, I didn't even know. He said, because Johnny he ain't telling us nothing. He just like start gone. And that's why I hugged his brother yesterday. I said, can you just hug me for him? And I hugged him real tight. I said, I'm not mad at him. I said, I love that man. I never loved nobody like that before, and I have never felt that type of love that he gave me before. I said, he was like, maybe he just don't know what to say to you. I said, he probably don't. I said, but that is what hurt me the most, that he won't open up, that he won't say anything at all. And he was like, well, I'm going to go talk to him, make sure he talks to you. So he messaged me last night. He was like, I talked to Johnny, and he said he's going to talk to you, but, that was just that he says he's going to talk to you. And I'm like, I guess he's just going to talk when he feels like talking. But at the end of the day, I don't care. I know you going through stuff. I know you need somebody to be there for you. And that's what I was doing. That's what we were doing for each other. And it really was trauma bonding. And, that's a whole nother thing, when you being there for somebody, y'all like holding each other up. And that's why we were able to be the way that we was. And that's why so many people like, dang, what happened? Like, y'all was inseparable. Y'all was starting to look alike. Y'all look like siblings. Like, and they say people, when they soulmates, they look alike.
Yeah, and I understand that women go through this a lot, Star.
Yeah.
That's what this platform is really about, having conversation.
Yeah.
People go through this every day. Friendships are torn every day because of things like this. They just don't talk about it.
His life.
They just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being vulnerable, not being embarrassed. Thank you for just getting in front of the truth. As I prayed that God fill you up and get you back to the status of where you are and even higher. I believe that. Keep being honest. Keep being true to who you are.
That's all I know how to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just open with everything. I'm a free spirit. I've always been like that. So, and I'm even more like that now with the things that I'm going through, because I know it's so many people that are afraid to speak on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they deal with things alone, and they feel like nobody else has been through it or in their shoes. A lot of women reached out to me and just like embraced me. They was like, wow, I've been through this same situation.
Yes.
And you are brave and you're courageous, and thank you,
Yes.
for your voice, because I wasn't able to do that.
Yes.
I mean, when I say it was so many people reaching out, messenger, text messages, calls, not just you, but I was so thankful when you called, and you called more than once. You talked to me several times.
Yeah.
And I cried on the phone with you, because I'm just emotional right now. It's a lot, but just for them reaching out to me saying that they understand
and not being like everybody else that was like, oh, we told you this was going to happen, you know. And a lot of people that said that they told me it was going to happen, they still embrace me.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You know,
I've seen that.
You're human. It
I've seen
happens.
that.
You know,
I've
love
seen
is
that.
love. You know, you can't help who you love, and I just expected different. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm pulling for you and I'm praying for you. I think you're gonna be all right.
Yeah,
gotta go through.
I need to go apply for the co-host position too.
Yes. For real, girl. You've been through some stuff.
For real, yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
But no, I'm praying for you. I'm gonna stay in touch with you, and you're gonna be all right, Star.
I know it.
You are.
I know it. I see the light.
You're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
All right, so before we get out of here, I got to tell you about our special that we've got. I got to tell you about this special, one of our advertisers, before we get out of here tonight. And listen, you can only hear this podcast on the YouTube page. I am actually, I pre-taped this conversation with Star. I'm actually in Tampa, Florida. I've got trial tomorrow. I'm in a lawsuit where I'm actually suing. Let me get off this flyer real quick. That I'm actually suing the rapper Plies. So for the next 3 days, tomorrow, Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm going to be in trial, trying to get my money back from Plies. The rapper Plies did not show up at our nightclub, so that's why we did this differently. We're going to release this, you guys, on this Sunday night. That's when you're able to see it. And then we'll be back next week. Next week, we're going to do a thing called Battle of the Sexes, where we're going to have 4 guys, 4 women. We're going to go live on location. We're going to talk about politics. We're going to talk about relationship. It's going to be super dope. Y'all just be on the lookout about where we're going to be, okay? Now, when I was talking about the advertisers, let me put this flyer back up there. All right, so let's talk about a big sponsor is the Arkansas Cigar Festival 2024. It's September the 1st, okay? It's going to be at Sherwood Woody Forest in Sherwood, Arkansas. They're going to give you dinner. It's going to be an open bar and live music. Open bar means you can drink as many drinks as you want to, okay? If you want to sit at a table and you've got multiple friends that are going, the tables are out there. They're $450, but not only do they come with dinner, do they not come with unlimited drinks, live music, but they also get a complimentary bottle with that, okay? If you don't have enough people to do a table, the individual tickets are $65, okay? You still get dinner, still get open bar. And then vendors, if you want to sell your product, then you can, okay? Let me tell you who you need to call. You need to call Scully, and I need to find his flyer again. I always go back. I've been struggling about it, but let me read his number so you can get to it.
Go to your search bar.
Okay.
And type it in what you're looking for.
Let me see. There it is. Dang, Star. Call Scully at 501-454-9417. Call Scully, 501-454-9417. Dang, you just taught me something today.
Listen, I can teach you a lot. I'm trying to show you some of my skills before I apply. My degree is in digital entrepreneurship. I have a master's in business administration.
Well, listen, we almost
show you a lot.
Listen, man, we need to have that conversation because I'm telling you, we almost are at the end of picking this co-host. We probably gonna have it out there for another couple of weeks, and then we're gonna narrow it down to like 3 or 4 ladies, and then we're gonna bring them on a week and let them see how they go. So that listen. We're going to have that conversation, though, for real. We're going to have that conversation.
Teach you how to turn this screen from stop sleeping on you, too.
It don't normally do that, but normally I'm live, and I'm not live today. I'm recording this so that we can put it back, but normally it doesn't go to sleep because I'm live, okay? Let me make sure I got everything else. I think I got everything else. Listen, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please hit the notification button so that when we go and move our podcast over to YouTube, you'll already be there, okay? All right, I will see you the next Sunday on the 25th. Same bat time, same bat channel. Good night.
Bye.